watching Twin Tiers Evening News with Jeff Androlonis and Alexa Olson. Now, from the Twin Tiers' biggest broadcast news operation, WVTT proudly presents Twin Tiers Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Alexa Olson.
And I'm Jeff Androlonis. Good Monday evening. The big story tonight on Twin Tiers Evening News. The man accused of murdering the Clymer school superintendent appeared in court today. A trial date could have possibly gotten assigned today as Anthony Taglianetti faces pre-trial hearings. No more information released to our news desk at this time. Taglianetti is accused of murdering Keith Reed of Clymer back in September. Taglianetti has pleaded not guilty to the charges.
Today is Holocaust Remembrance Day, a day people around the world take a moment to stop and remember the atrocities that happened under Nazi Germany. WVTT's Valerie Tysander spoke with a Holocaust survivor who shared his story.
Yom HaShoah, a day for the world to remember the horrors of the Holocaust. For those that survived it, it's hard to believe it was nearly 70 years ago when 6 million Jews were murdered. Hank Marison is one who remembers. He's a Holocaust survivor and has lived in America for nearly half his life. But he says what he went through in the Netherlands after Nazi Germany invaded will stay with him forever. Marison's family was one of the select families who resisted Nazi Germany, setting aside a space in their home for those in need, becoming a safe house.
As far as I remember, to me, it was somewhat exciting to have all these, ooh, you gotta keep your mouth shut, you know, and ooh, that makes me important. I have stuff on my head that you're not supposed to know, and I'm not going to tell you.
But as so often happened to those who harbored refugees, their home was raided and a gun put to Hank's head.
But later on, when I had guns on my own, I tried to duplicate that feeling, you know. It's not the same. When you know that somebody else's finger is on the trigger, it's a different feeling.
His father sent to a work camp.
The fact that essentially he also jeopardized his entire family, but here's the point. He felt it his duty.
But his father was one of the lucky ones. 9 months later, he made it home, alive.
Dad came home, black and blue, skin and bones, with his clothing hanging around like loose pieces of cloth around him because he was so thin.
The Twin Tiers can remember the Holocaust tonight at St. Bonaventure University. A remembrance service will be held at 7:30 p.m. at the University Chapel in Doyle Hall. Our very own Valerie Tysander will be there at the event. Road construction season starts soon, and East State Street in Olean is on the list to get fixed first. Work crews will be on the street starting April 15th. Now, city officials say the road made it through the winter rather well, and they're excited to get the repaving project finished. Contractors wrapped up work in December for the winter, leaving part of the road with a temporary paving job, which is slated to be completed now that the spring is here. We sent a camera crew out to talk to people in the Twin Tiers about their reaction and just how much longer is this construction going to last. Take a listen.
As long as they had it tore up last year, I'm just surprised it's not done already. It seemed like it had a negative effect on the local businesses down there, especially the ones that are farther down. They worked on it for so long and had it torn up all last year. I just figured, I was shocked when I came to it was still tore up. It's still rough. I figured maybe I don't understand the concept, but I would have figured it would be done by now.
I think it probably should have gotten done last year, and they need to finish what they started because it should have been done already.
Oh, it's worth it in the long run. Yes, it is.
New information tonight about a pedestrian accident in Olean. Police are releasing the details of that accident on Hamilton Street near North Olean, near North Union, that happened last Thursday. Olean City Police tell WVTT 58-year-old C.A. McAnallen was struck by a vehicle driven by Jamison Bowen. Bowen was charged with failure to yield to a pedestrian in a crosswalk. McAnallen was crossing the street with her grandchildren when she was struck, according to reports. She was taken to Olean General for treatment after complaining about shoulder pain.
A convicted Buffalo killer arrested in Olean. City police say they arrested Daryl Boyd after an incident on East State Street on Saturday. He allegedly harassed residents at a home there by kicking in their door. He was sent to jail for parole violations. Boyd was previously convicted of murder.
Want to weigh in on the Pennsylvania Game Commission's deer management ideas? Well, you may just get your chance later this month in Coudersport. A public hearing is slated for April 25th at the Coudersport Volunteer Fire Department. State Representative Marty Causer of McKean-Potter counties is also the chairman of the State Game and Fish Committee. That's Game and Fisheries Committee. He says he wants to hear more about the criticisms he's heard about the current deer management program. Many have called it ineffective. Causer described the hearing as a fact-finding mission so that officials can get better look at the deer population, chronic wasting disease, and other issues. Now, that meeting's going to be held at the Coudersport Fire Hall.
Causer also tells WVTT that a rally is planned in Harrisburg for Pennsylvania residents to send a message to the state government about the Second Amendment. Causer says it's worth driving to Harrisburg to support the cause. He says a number of bills have been proposed in the state he finds troubling.
There's been legislation introduced to create a firearms registration whereby all firearms in the Commonwealth would have to be registered with the Pennsylvania State Police. There's another bill that was introduced that would require individuals to obtain firearm liability insurance if they possess a license to carry a firearm. And then there's another bill that would overturn the progress we've made with the state's castle doctrine. So those are just examples of really bad pieces of legislation that we continue to fight against. But that's why it's so important for us to be vigilant and to work very hard to protect our rights.
That annual Second Amendment rally will be held April 23rd. More information on that on our website, WVTTnews.com. Jeff.
Alexa, speaking of the Second Amendment, in New York State, lawmakers and gun show operators appear to be coming to an agreement. The state attorney general's office says that new agreement will mean gun show operators will make sure that guns aren't sold to prohibited buyers. Private gun sellers will have to put tags on all guns, and all those tags will make sure that gun buyers undergo a background check. Also, law enforcement patrols will ensure that unregulated selling doesn't happen outside gun shows in the Empire State.
A swamp is burning in Niagara County on the Tuscarora Indian Reservation, and officials are letting it burn. Firefighters from nearby Lewiston say the fire occurs every few years and it could take a couple of days to burn out. They say that the access road to the swamp is too wet to get fire crews to do anything. The fire started on Sunday and crews have been on the scene since then. They're keeping an eye on the burning marsh to make sure it doesn't get out of control.
A number of wildfires to tell you about tonight. It's especially becoming a problem in Pennsylvania's northern tier. A fire in Cameron County, one in Norwich Township, one in Ceres Township, another in Liberty Township, as well as a mile-long fire in Ridgeway Township in Elk County. We also have a fire burning in Keating Township on Bark Shanty Road, and officials are warning us tonight that just because the weather is nice, it doesn't mean it's a good time to burn. In fact, over the weekend, the National Weather Service issued a red flag warning, which means that conditions are ripe for wildfires and local residents should use caution. Still to come tonight on Twin Tiers Evening News, our first look at weather, also WVTT's information overload, and a look at the closing numbers from Wall Street. Stay tuned. This is News Channel 25 WVTT. Depend on it.